everyone, and welcome to episode number 8 of the Growing and Glowing Through Social Work YouTube channel. I am Janelle Danae, and I am your hostess throughout this lifelong journey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This week's episode is going to be a little different. I am going to be showing you all exactly what I have been telling you all about this whole entire month, about following me on Instagram and the conversations that we were having live on Instagram at GG Social Work. If you guys haven't been following the lives on my Instagram account, you guys, you are still in luck. Next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. we are going to be going live again with another conversation surrounding mental health. So let me tell you all before this video plays that you all know what this series is about. So the How's Your Mental Live series is about promoting daily conversations surrounding mental health. And I know that I was doing these conversations every week, but it was my deepest desires that you all were bringing the conversations that we were having on the lives and bringing them into your daily lives and having them with people in your community, people that are in your circle. The Mental Life series was also designed for us to start combating and eradicating the stigma that is associated with mental health. There is a lot of great work in the mental health field, and I just wanted to just add on to the conversation, add on to the fight against eradicating the stigma that is associated with it. And lastly, I wanted to bring mental health conversations in an unconventional way to unusual spaces that are not necessarily talking about mental health, right? And so what I realized that when I was at school, that's the only time I would really be talking about mental health, like about people. I was talking about mental health to people that was already in the field. But when it came to like my friends, or when it came to just, regular, just people that's not in the field, like we weren't really talking about it. And I'm like, it was like a light bulb went off, like, we all need to be talking about this simply because it impacts us all and we do not talk about it enough. And that is due to the stigma that is associated around it, and also because there's like a lack of knowledge and all these beliefs when it comes to mental health. So this live, the How's Your Mental Life series tackled the main points of what it needed to do, right? It was like the How's Your Mental Life series was opening the door for us to start having these conversations. So before I play the video, I'm gonna give you all a quick disclaimer. You guys are going to see it. The quick disclaimer simply is this: I am not a licensed mental health professional. I am none of that, at least not yet, right? I'm not that yet. However, I know y'all thinking like, okay, so girl, how you get who said you could talk about it? And God did. God told me, he qualified me to talk about it. And what I wanted to do is that I wanted to bring the conversations that I was having in the classroom, the conversations that I was having amongst my peers, and I wanted to bring it to spaces like this, to YouTube, to Instagram, to people, to the African American community, right? And other underserved communities that are not talking about mental health enough. And so welcome to this live series. For those of you who are going to be joining in, watching it for the first time, and if you see anything that you like, if you hear anything that you like, I will greatly appreciate it if you share it with somebody, like, subscribe, comment, and also use the hashtag GG Social Work. And yeah, just spread the message. And listen, again, I'm going to be going live again next week on Tuesday at 8:30, you guys. So if you like what you see, definitely click the link. I'm gonna say click the link in my bio. if you like what you see, definitely follow me on Instagram, you guys. Follow me on Instagram at GG Social Work, okay? You guys, great things are coming in store, and I just want you all to be a part of it. So without further ado, here is the live series. Hey, Daddy, welcome back. Hey Jada, hey Shantae, welcome back. I had to end the live because my service was just blowing me, and so I had to take off the Wi-Fi because I hate being interrupted, and I want to make sure that the message is being delivered as much as possible. So Jada, welcome back. Shantae, yes, let's get to it. Let's jump right into the conversation, okay? So I'm gonna do because I believe, Jada, this is your first time joining in on the live series. So the how's your mental, and Shantae, this is your first time on the live series. So yay! So let me tell you guys about what this live series, the how's your mental live series, is all about, right? So May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I really wanted to do something different in honor of mental health. Hey Jasmine, hey best friend, go best friend. Let me stop. I'm gonna be up here acting up. So let me focus. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I wanted us to start having these daily conversations, well, weekly conversations, because I'm coming up here every week for us to discuss everything surrounding mental health. Week 1, we discuss our beliefs surrounding mental health, right? There's so much stigma still that is associated with mental health that I believe having us talk about our beliefs will kind of start able to debunk some of the things that we thought what mental health is and what mental health isn't. So that was the first week we talked about. Second week we got into mental disorders. So what is atypical and what is typical, right? What are some atypical behaviors that, okay, maybe I need to see somebody, but then it's like, okay, this is something that everybody goes to. So that was week 2. Week 3, we talked about how to become more come for a more trauma sensitive approach. So being more kind to people. And today, week 4, you guys, week 4, we are talking about how to optimize our mental health. It's so important, and the reason being is that mental health impacts us all. All right, if you are breathing, if you are alive, if you are watching this live, like, your mental health is impacted daily. Whether some people don't subscribe to believing in mental disorders or believing in talking to a therapist about their feelings, like, regardless, at the end of the day, your mind is always being impacted due to what is around you. So let's jump right in. So I want to put a quick disclaimer out there. I am not a licensed mental health expert professional. I am simply, and I know y'all probably think like, okay girl, so what qualifies you to talk about mental health? Simply, I am walking in my purpose. God told me to get up here and do this, so that is what I'm doing, right? And I am a student at Fordham University getting my master's in social work, and so I'm on the mental health realm. So I don't think, and what I wanted to do, I wanted to take the knowledge and the discussions that I was having in the classroom, and I wanted to bring it to platforms like this, to spaces like this that needs to be on mental health, that needs to be talking about mental health, right? Sometimes when we are in our own particular spaces, right? For me, it was like social work. So like everything was like secondhand, like, okay, everybody should be talking about this, everybody should know this. But like when you leave that social work group, you're with other people, and it's like, okay, this is not common. So I wanted to really bridge that gap between what was going on in the classroom to going on into like spaces like this, these unusual, unconventional spaces that aren't necessarily talking about mental health. So a couple, just really one ground rule I have, well, a couple, right, as it relates to this live. This live is not going to work if you all are not actively engaging, right? I did not want this to be me just talking at y'all. Like, I hate that, like when people just talk at you. I really want us to be engaging into this conversation, because I believe once we start talking, once we start engaging with one another, that's when that healing starts to happen, right? That's when light bulb starts to go off, when we are in dialogue with each other. And again, my goal is for us to start having these daily conversations. So if you could have a conversation with me weekly on this live, it would be so much easier for you to just close out this app and talk to people in real life about mental health. That is my goal. That is my goal for you all. So, okay, and another rule, feel free to share. I want you all to feel safe. This is a safe space. This is like a non-judgment zone. I don't have all the answers, but best believe if I don't have the answer, I'm going to connect you all to getting the answers that you all desire. So feel free, let loose, enjoy the little old school music that I have in the back room, in the background, and just vibe out with me. So welcome, you guys. So let me turn the page. Yeah, let me show you. I went in. Like, all of this is what we're gonna be talking about today. So, and it's not that much. It looks like a lot, but it's really not. So let me make sure I'm in order. So point number 1. So I'm really going to be giving you guys tips on how to optimize your mental health, because again, this is something, hey noodles, this is something that impacts us all. And I think once we start practicing healthy ways to deal with our mental health, life will become so much easier, right? So if you don't have a notebook right now, I should have said that at the beginning of the live, or I should have said that like when I was telling people to join, right? But I highly suggest that you all get yourself a pen so you could take notes on these points, because it is going to help you. Okay, so point number 1 in optimizing your mental health: identify triggers, right? Identify your triggers that puts you in a funk. So for example, you ever like woke up on the wrong side of the bed and you're like, yo, what is wrong with me? Like, why am I in such a crappy mood right now? And you don't know why. And the reason being is because, like, okay, maybe before you went to bed last night, you watched something on your phone that kind of trigger you. Stupid people that don't use common sense. What you mean by that, Dad? But so yeah, and let's not try to call people stupid. Let's have a more sensitive touch to that, right? Because sometimes we all make mistakes, right? So yeah. And so let me get back to it. So number 1 is identify your triggers. So what are triggers? What are your emotional triggers? So I have a definition right here that I'm going to be reading from. So an emotional trigger is an experience that draws us back, right? That draws us. Thank you, Jada, putting the points down in the comments. Yes, put some clap emojis for Jada for taking the initiative to do that. Thanks, sis. So identify your trigger. So it is an experience that draws us back into the past and causes us to feel old feelings and act out old behaviors, and it causes them to arise, right? So you're probably, what could be an example of a good way of a trigger? Somebody said something to you and it reminds you of like what your grandmother used to say to you, like, right? Somebody had said, like, you know, said something sideways and it kind of pushed you back into like a space that you were once used to, right? So those are triggers. And I think it's so important for us to identify these triggers, because once we know what triggers us, we are not going to purposely put ourselves in spaces where we are easily triggered, right? So there are 2 types of triggers. There are external triggers and internal triggers. And it's probably obvious that internal triggers are your thoughts, are your feelings. So when you start thinking a certain way, it kind of oh yes, certain songs are trigger for you. Yes, good. Yes. And so those would be considered external triggers, right? So certain songs, hanging around certain people, if you are using any substances, right? Those could be some triggers that could put you in a funk. And what I want you all to kind of take from this is that you don't have to get to the root of why something is triggering you, right? You can. I think it's so helpful, right? And if you can't get to the why or something is triggering you, by all means, go talk to a licensed therapist, a licensed mental health professional, to get to the root of things, right? But if you are cool with not knowing why, and if you are struggling with kind of figuring out, okay, what are my triggers, right? What really bothers me? I think again, go talk to someone, because a licensed mental health professional is there for you. What song is this? All right, I'm gonna just let it rock out. But a licensed mental health professional is there for you to help you identify some of what are your triggers, right? And in identifying our triggers before a problem becomes, because life is going to happen to us regardless, right? Regardless if we have all the skills that we need, life is going to take place. But once you know what your triggers are, and I see you guys are putting comments, right? So at the end of this live, so I won't get sidetracked because I could go off the rail easily. So I see your comment, Shantae. I see what you're saying, Dad. But at the end of this live, I'm gonna get to it, right? So stay on, you guys. Don't end the live. Stay on. I'm gonna get to your comments. So dang, see, that's what I be talking. I'll be getting sidetracked. I'll be playing around too much. But so I want you all to kind of understand why it's important for us to know our triggers, know what is causing us to feel this funk, okay? And so I wrote a couple of points down that I probably didn't state. So knowing your triggers are important because it allows you, that's what I was saying. Knowing your triggers are important because it allows you to respond appropriately when something happened, right? You're not taken off surprise, right? If you are meeting someone new for the first time and someone says something that is like, oh, if the old me would have snapped at you, but since I know my triggers, I know how to navigate this situation a little bit better. So again, knowing your triggers allow you to respond appropriately. It does not, you are not caught off guard when you know what your triggers are. You're not going to purposely put yourself in positions that is going to cause you to be triggered, right? And what else did I say? Oh, point number 2 is that knowing your triggers are important because it is a preventative measure from a problem escalating. And that goes back to just saying that you're not going to purposely and intentionally put yourself in positions that are going to trigger you. And also you're going to know how to navigate those situations. And also it's a sense of self-control, right? It is a sense of self-control. And also knowing your triggers allows you to get help, right? So those of you who probably was not on the, I don't know if this kind of correlates, but I'm gonna try to make it correlate. So on my first live or my second live about mental disorders, I talked about schizophrenia and how that before you go into with schizophrenia, those who do not know, schizophrenia is you are hearing things, you are seeing things, it's delusion, so it's all of that jazz. And so before the disease, kind of the disorder takes full-fledged, you are in this space it's called the pre-dormal phase, before the, what's the word I'm looking for, before the delusions kind of, hey Taylor, welcome to the live. So before the delusions kind of take on. And so in that stage, in that pre-dormal stage, you are aware what's going on, right? You are still connected to reality, and you're connected to reality, and you're also connected to your delusion. Like you believe the stuff that is going on, and you are able to kind of get that help that you need, right? And so what I'm trying to bridge the gap, what I'm trying to say, y'all let me know if y'all following me. But and so with that, knowing your triggers allows you to get that necessary help. So for example, when you're in that pre-dormal stage, if you have schizophrenia, you are able to go get the proper help that you need. Y'all following me? Like, let me know. Just give me a thumbs up if y'all following me. I hope I was able to kind of bridge that gap together. But so yes, that's point number 1. Identify your triggers to optimize your mental health. And I think, to be honest, with each of these points, I could probably do just a live separately or a teaching separately on each one to go in depth on each one, because it's so rich. Okay, so point number two, you guys, and it leads me into this with identifying our triggers, right? Life is going to happen to us regardless, all right? Being prepared is key, and by being prepared leads us to point number 2. You need to develop and practice your coping skill. You have to develop your coping skills, and you have to practice it, right? Practice makes perfect. I'm saying it wrong. I don't care. But what are your coping skills, right? So coping skills are tools to deal with something difficult that is. So coping skills are tools to deal effectively with something that is difficult. Again, life is going to happen. There are going to be some bumps. And thank you, Jada, coming again with point number 2. So life is going to happen. That's why you have coping skill put into place. For example, you may lose a loved one, right? You may lose a parent, you may lose a child, you may lose a brother, you may lose a sister, you may lose somebody in your life, right? You may lose somebody in your life. That pain will probably, oh, this is the cut right here. Oh, this is a cookout song right here. I'm sorry, y'all. I should really turn this music off, but this is a real good throwback. If y'all hear it, I'm so silly, y'all. Let me get back to it. But point number, so yeah, let me get back to it. So people are going to go off. People are like, you are going to lose people in your life, right? People are not going to be there, and that pain will probably always still be there, right? That pain is going to be there. It is never going to go away. However, having coping skills allows you to better deal with the situation, right? It allows you to cope with it, to deal with it. So for example, if someone dies, your coping skill will probably have this like ritual of lighting a candle every time. I don't know, lighting a candle before you go to bed, and doing it in remembrance of them, right? And that's your way to kind of keep them alive, to keep them in your memory. So that is how you deal with that person passing. For example, like I work with children that have emotional difficulties, that have behavior issues, and the boy, his mother died. And he is struggling to cope with his mom, with the passing of his mother. And so what he does in one-on-one session is that he will like ask the therapist to kind of upload a picture of his mom so he could kind of see the mom face to face, and kind of print out the picture to keep the picture with him. And in a way, that is him coping with his mother passing, because it's keeping the mom alive in some way. So developing your coping skills is so imperative, you guys, when life gets rough for you. Okay, know your coping skills. Know what could bring you joy, right? Let me see, I'm not missing any other points. And so this leads me to, so this leads me to the practicing piece, right? And you could develop your coping skills, and I didn't say that part, but you could just develop your coping skills by what are some things that makes you happy, right? What's some things that bring you some sense of peace? That could be praying. That could be reading the Bible. That could be writing, journaling. That could be listening to some music. That could be meditating. That could be doing yoga. That could be simply just doing anything that is, and to me, coping skills are like self-care, right? So anything that you are just practicing being in tune with yourself and being into what is going on in that very moment. And so for the practicing piece, just like basketball, if you want to be a basketball player, you want to practice basketball day in and day out. You practice basketball day in and day out, and you want to start being good and start being better at your coping skills. So again, going back to my job with the kids that I work with, and this is just going to bring it all full circle of why we should practice our coping skills. So again, the job that I work at is no joke. It's really stressful sometimes, and the kids do not always necessarily getting along. Like, let me paint this picture on my job. I am trained to restrain a child if need be. So that's the stress I have to go through, right? When I go to work, right? If need be, if a child is being a danger to themselves, if they are being a danger to other peers, if they are being a danger to staff, like, I have that authority with help of a partner to restrain that child. And I don't like using the word restrain, but to put that child in a protective hold. So in the midst of a group setting, so it's typically 8 to 9 kids in a group. Different personalities are clashing. Like, it's hectic sometimes, you guys. And so the kids, they easily snap. And when we have groups, so sometimes before they even snap or whatever, we are having group therapy. The kids are talking. They are saying, what they could do when they're angry. When we talk about anger management, how they could start. What else we talk about? How they could interact with other people in a positive way. How they could defend themselves in a healthy way. Because we all got that mindset. If somebody hits you, you hit them back, right? So we try not to teach our kids that, right? So, and I know a lot of people may disagree with that, but again, we want to start teaching our kids to become for a more therapeutic approach when dealing with other people. And that's, again, that could be another topic for another day to go back and forth with that, because some people could disagree and some people can agree. But in the midst of that, so the kids, they know their coping skills, right? They know that if I go drink a water, I could calm my body down. If I go out and take space, I could do deep breath. The issue occurs when there is a situation that is happening right now, like a fight is about to break out, and the kids just forget what their coping skills are, right? It just go totally out the window, and I have to tell them. And after we debrief, I'm like, okay, so what happened to your coping skills? Did you forget? And so they say when they're in that moment, they their mind just blinks. And I understand, I get it, but again, it's no excuse, because when you're out in the real world, and I always trying to connect into that, when you're out in the real world, there's not going to be no excuse, especially for Black and brown little people, right? There's not going to be no excuse. They're not going to be, you have this mental disorder. It's evident when you watch the news, right? And I know some people may not agree or prescribe to that way of thinking, but I have to be honest, and I'm really honest with the kids that I serve. And of course, I do it in a way that they are able to digest it. So when that happened, I made it my business to say, like, you know what, this group, and my group is from 3:55 to 4:50, Monday through Friday. I said, we are going to practice our coping skills. So when you are feeling this way, it could come second nature, right? You could just instantly, when you feel yourself going back to point number one, when you are feeling yourself being triggered, you are going back out. You are, okay, I'm triggered right now. Okay, boom. I need to implement my coping skill. I need to go drink some water to calm my body down. I need to go somewhere, take some space, be alone, and just write, So we need to get in the habit of practicing our coping skill, right? And you don't even have to be mad, right? You don't have to be mad to go practice your coping skills, right? You don't have to be sad to go practice your coping skill. Just practice it. Make it a part of your daily routine, right? So it becomes second nature, all right? These are ways that we could start optimizing our mental health, you guys. It's up to us. It's up to us, right? We have the decision to choose if we are going to interact in bad behavior, or if we are going to interact in bad behavior, or if we are going to just stay in this mood that does not serve us any good. So again, you guys, practice healthy coping skills. And I have to say that healthy coping skills, right? Because some people use marijuana to cope with use marijuana, use drugs, use other things. So again, when I tell y'all, this could be like a whole separate live, like a whole separate teaching about coping skills, because we use other things to kind of mask our problem. And marijuana usage and drinking and engaging in frisky behavior is another way to kind of separate yourself for some people. And so that is really not unhealthy. So I want to clarify that we need to start engaging in healthy coping skills that can help us kind of deal with a situation at hand when something difficult is coming. So, Jada, no problem, girl. I'll catch you later. Catch the replay, honey. Later. But again, and I see everyone's comments, so if you guys are leaving questions, I'm going to get to the question at the very end. All right, I did not forget. I just can't read them as I'm going because I would get sidetracked. So I'm going to move into point number 3. And anybody want to pick up on Jada's job? Because since Jada left the conversation, Jada was putting the points in the comments. So anybody that want to pick up on it, by all means, go ahead, do your thing. I appreciate you kindly. So point number 3, right? Point number 3, and let me make sure. So let me move my sneaky notes to this side. I'm preaching out of my notebook, so I gotta make sure I'm on task so you guys could get what I'm saying. So point number one, identify your triggers. Point number two, develop and practice those coping skills. Now we're about to get into some more deeper stuff, right? Point number three, remove toxic people out of your life. And that's a word for somebody, honey. We have to start removing people out of our life that does not serve us any good, right? And it's not being phony. It's not being, oh, I should stay around this person because this person was there with me for X, Y, and Z. No. If this person is not actively stimulating your mental, you have to, if they are in a positive way, it's time to remove them from your life. Okay? Family, brother, cousin, friend, best friend. Like, it's time to start removing people that does not serve us any good. We have to start removing toxic people from our lives. And so I want to read a scripture, and I want to kind of connect it back to the Bible in a way. So I'm going to be reading from New Living Translation. And so I found like two scriptures, and I think the one that I really want to read, you know what, I just read both, but I think I'm going to be talking about for one. So scripture number one is from Proverbs chapter 13 verse 20, and it says, walk with the wise and become wise, associate with fools and get in trouble. That's the first scripture. Hey Dar, welcome to the live. And so I'm going to read that scripture again. And if anybody want to put that scripture in the comments, go ahead, by all means do it. And I'll make sure I should do like a little, no, I'm not gonna say that. So the scripture that I'm reading is Proverbs chapter 13 verse 20. Walk with these, let me turn this down because that's really gonna distract me. So Proverbs chapter 13 verse 20. Walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get in trouble. That's a word for somebody, honey. And so the second scripture, I'm going to be, again, I'm reading from the NLT version, and I'm coming from Proverbs again. Chapter 22, verses 24 and 25. Don't befriend angry people or associate with hot-tempered people, or you will learn to be like them and endanger your soul. Baby, if you are around people that, and this scripture both of this scripture really remind me of like the saying that you are the people you hang around with, right? Birds of a feather flock together, right? For a while growing up, I kind of like pushed back on that because not all the time, but more than likely, as you are getting older, right, that may be okay when you are a kid, but as you are growing older, becoming more wiser, if you are hanging out with people that does not serve you any justice, that means in some way that let me try to figure out how I'm about to say this, that you are not ready to grow. Like something is still holding you on. Your past is still holding you on to what you used to be. I can't even talk. But it is toxic people, right? It's people that are reminding you of your past, but you are trying to move forward, right? But you are trying to escape, but they are pulling you back. You are trying to move forward, but they are pulling you back. And so you have to make that conscious decision and to really cut all ties off so you could mentally be stable, right? Because again, what did the scripture say? If you associate with hot-tempered people, you will learn to be just like them, and it will endanger yourself. You are putting your mental at risk, right? So be mindful of who you interact with, of who you are conversing with, right? So that is point number 3. Remove toxic people from your life, or it will consume who you are. Okay, all right. So point number 4. So we dealt with the negative. We're going to do more with the positive. So the positive is stay in community with people. Stay around people. Stay around healthy people. People that are doing you good, right? Not people, you're not using them, so to say, but it's that mutual, and it's that mutual respect, it's that mutual give and take, right? It's a healthy relationship. And what I like to point out is, I heard this a while ago, that all relationships are not equal. However, I forgot how they were trying to explain it. All relationships are not equal. However, all relationships have like that equal type of, I'm saying the wrong word, but all relationships to have like that same, in a way, mutual respect, right? So So yeah, I shouldn't even have said that because I lost like I can't remember. But yeah, don't isolate yourself. Do not isolate yourself. And this is so important for those who have a history of just being sad all the time. And I don't want to say depression because I can't, I don't know if you were diagnosed with that, but I am going to say, so if you have a history of depression, or if you know family, your parents had a history of depression, do not isolate yourself, right? Being in the stage of being isolated allows you just to be in this one-sided mood, right? You are only hearing for yourself. Hey Taquaya. But you're not hearing from yourself. There's not any positive interaction. It's only negative self-talk. So you want to be around people that are fueling you up, people that are pouring into you. You want to be in a healthy community. So, and I want to say that there is a certain, to an extent, there is a difference between people that isolate and people that are introverts, right? We love to say like, oh, I'd rather prefer to be by myself. And listen, I'm one of those type of people, right? I love to say like, I'm good, I'm all right by myself. But that could be dangerous sometimes, especially when you are not mentally there, right? Your mental is poor right now. You are not practicing your coping skills. You don't know what's triggering you, or you do know you're triggered, but you are isolating yourself. So there's a difference between being an introvert and isolating yourself for what is from the world, right? Stay in community. People are going to lift you up in those communities. The devil is going to use that sense of isolation. You're talking that yes, Quaya. But and again, Quaya, if you got any questions, put them in the comments. For my mental span, I can't read comments and questions, so, and I will get to all of it at the end. But so yes, so for example, I have an example written down. So there's a study, and this is so important why we need to start being in community with healthy people. So there's a study, and I don't know the exact study, but I could find out for you all, that there's a study saying that older people that are living in nursing homes, so that living in the convalescent home, that have families to go visit them, right? They are more likely to live longer than those who don't have family members that do not go to visit them, right? Though they are around other people in the nursing home, like their peers, but they are not going to live longer because they are not around people that they genuinely care about, that genuinely care about them. So that is why it's so important to find you that group of people, right? I hate when people say like, I don't need nobody, I'm all good by myself type of mentality. Boo, you do need people. You are not no one man island. Like, God put us here for a reason, for we could be in community with one another, right? What did the songwriter say? Like, I need you, you need me. We're all a part of God's body. Y'all know the song, right? So we all need each other, right? So we need to stay in community with one another. We need to not isolate ourselves when times are getting rough. That's the time we need to press more into being around other people. And that's how people sometimes go off and I'm about to get kind of deep. That's why some people die by suicide sometimes, because they feel like there's nobody's around them. So it's so important for us to be around other people, right? Be around people through those difficult times. And you don't even have to know that something is being difficult, that someone is going through a difficult time for you to just be around them, okay? So yes, let's start being around people. Let's start pushing off that positive energy. Let's just be a friend to people. So number 5, this is probably one of my favorites because I just started to like do this. So, and I could really like speak from a true space, right? I'm not just going off about what the researchers say. Like, this is something that I'm actually doing. So number 5 is exercise. Move your body, get active, right? This is how we are going to, again, optimize our mental. I got a burp. Hold on, y'all. Excuse me. exercise, move your body. That is how we are going to optimize our mental health. And so I found this article. So the title of the article is called the relation of study, I'm saying it wrong, the relation study of physical activity and exercise to mental health. And so these are some very important facts that I kind of took away from the article. And if you guys want to get access to the article, let me know. I will send you the link. And I don't want you guys to think like exercise like, oh my god, I gotta go to the gym, I gotta run on the treadmill. It could be something so simple as just like going for a walk, or just doing a couple of dance moves in your living room. It could be something so small for 5 minutes, and you trust me, you will feel better. Like, it's all baby steps, y'all, all baby steps. So the points that I took away from the article is that is so interesting how it relates to mental health. Is that point number one, it alleviates some symptoms associated with mild and moderate depression. So for example, if you guys have a history of depression in your family, exercising will be a way to kind of treat that and way to combat that. And what I found to be so interesting, some people are funny with taking medicine. Let me turn this down because this is my song right here. But some people are funny when it comes to taking medicine, when it comes to a mental disorder. And that is going to be another topic we are going to get into, because I think it's so interesting, right? We could take medicine for diabetes. We could take medicine for high blood pressure, but we won't take medicine for, we won't take medicine when it comes to our mental. And I get it, right? I get some of the reason why we won't. And sometimes at times, like, I prescribe to that way of thinking, like, no, I want to do it the all natural way, right? Sometimes the all natural way does not work. Like, some people when they have a baby, they want to be all natural, but when the pain comes, they want some medicine. So I get both ways, right? But what is so interesting with exercising that anybody could do is so free, that with exercising that it could treat, instead of getting medication to treat your depression, you could exercise, it would be a way to treat depression. So I find that to be so interesting. So those who want to take a more natural route when dealing with depression or dealing with signs of depression, just exercise, right? If you feel like you are getting in the funk, exercising could be one of your coping skills. And so those who are struggling with alcoholism, substance abuse, exercise helps with that as well, to kind of helps with your treatment process. Also, if you are dealing with any sorts of anxiety, it decreases your stress and it helps you sleep better. That's what exercising do to you guys. Like, move your body, get active, take a walk, play with some kids. If you got kids, play with your kids, because listen, you will remain active. You got little cousins, play with your little cousins. Like, you have to stay active. So I said again, this is something that kind of helped me and that I could attest to, being exercising, right? So for me, I recently started really being serious about exercising. Me and my friend Dar, I'm sorry for putting your business out on the line. But yes, me and my friends we started working out, going to the gym almost like every other night, right? And I think after this, like, we going to the gym, Dar? Like, let me know, girl. But it helps me sleep better. Exercise, it really honestly helped me sleep better. Like, I'm able to just like rest. And I don't know really the science behind it, but like, honestly, y'all, after I go like get from the gym, it's like so much easier. Like, my mind is just clear. I could just like be knocked out. And so, and yeah, like I said, my mind is clear. Like, there's not a lot of clutter going on. Like, I feel like my mind is more organized. So, okay, Dar, we going? All right, bet. So our mind is my mind feel more organized after working out. And in a way, I become like, sometimes I feel like I need to go to the gym. Days that I don't go, I'm like, dang, I need to go to the gym, right? It's like you slowly become like, I don't want to use the word addictive, but you become thirsty to go to the gym. You become thirsty to go to the gym. And overall, just going to the gym really boosts my mental, right? It boosts my mood. Like, I'm in such a better mood after I work out, just taking this regimen onto my life. And this is, again, I want to just just highlight this point again, that research shows that the smallest amount of time that you exercise can make a difference, right? So those who are a little weary about working out, start small. Start 5 minutes, right? It's baby steps. It's baby steps, you guys. And so you guys could go to this website too. It's helpguide.org, and that's where I got some of my information too about exercise and how it relates to mental health. And so point number 6, you guys, this is the last point, and then I am going to answer your questions, read the comments, and just vibe out for a little bit right online. So point number 6, allow yourself permission to be, right? Just be, whatever that is, right? Be, and you fill in the rest, right? Allow yourself permission to just be free, be who you truly are, right? Be yourself in your natural state, right? And I think this is so empowering and imperative to say, because we live in a world, we live in a society that everything is fluff. We posting stuff on Instagram, for likes. We doing stuff for the likes, and it don't allow, and we doing it for man approval, right? And we second guess ourselves when we want to post something on Instagram, right? Oh, this picture right here is not gonna give me the likes, right? We second guess ourselves. So allow yourself to be whatever that is. Allow yourself to be. Start operating and starting from where you are right now. Again, so if you got to take baby steps in that, do so, right? So okay, Dad, I talk to you later. So okay, so again, that was the last point. Allow yourself to be. Okay, allow yourself to be, and allow yourself to feel the emotions that are going through your body. Okay, allow yourself to just, I don't know, whatever that be is, right? Just be. Just be who you are. Be who God calls you to be. Be yourself, right? Like, just be yourself. So I'm gonna go through the comments, and you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. Just put them in the comments. So again, I'm gonna go through the points again. So point number 1 is identify your triggers. Identify things that is causing you to be in a funk. Point number 2, develop and practice those coping skills that is going to help you when you are in the funk, right? And you have to constantly practice them, and practice them even when you're not in a poor mood, right? Practice makes perfect, right? So point number 2, develop and practice coping skill. Point number 3, remove yourself from toxic people. Cut all ties, you guys. Like, cut them off. You do not owe people an explanation. Like, it is our season for us to be, I don't want to say the word selfish, but it's our season to be more in tune with ourselves. So that's point number 3. Point number 4, stay in community, stay around healthy people. Do not isolate yourself. It is dangerous to isolate yourself. Stay in a community of healthy people. Be a community for someone, right? Be that friend, be that healthy person for someone to go to. Simply just calling them, checking up on them, or just simply asking them the question, how's your mental, friend? And that's something that my friend Noodle and I don't know, not right now, but that's how I actually got the title of this live, because that's something that my friend Noodles has said to me. She was like, Janelle, how's your mental? And I'm like, huh? What you mean by that? And then she was explaining to me, like, that's something that we just don't do enough. It's just checking on each other's mental. So Noodles, I probably need to cut you a check, honey, because thank you for saying that to me. But how's your mental? Just be a friend. And I think it's deeper than just saying to them, hey, how are you? Because normally in past we say, hey, how are you? And people be like, good. We don't really wait for the person to really respond. It's just like, okay, good, and thank you, right? We don't wait, because those are typical things that we say, right? Typical manners to say to people when we come in contact with them. But I think really saying how's your mental allows people to really think like, oh dang, how's my mental? That means how I'm doing. And what I get, and I do this at work too, when I first started doing this, right? When I first started saying to people like, how's your mental? Because I told y'all where I work at is very stressful, and sometimes we don't have excuse me. Sometimes at my job, we don't have the opportunity to quickly debrief. We don't have the opportunity at my job to debrief when something so significant happened, right? For me, for example, before, like, the program that I'm at now, when I was working at the residential program at my job, a young lady, her first night, y'all, her first night, she was about to she was trying to die by suicide, right? That was her goal, and we had to restrain her. Like, she was able to, like, get out the facility. We following her. She's trying to jump into traffic. Like, this is my real, like, I saw some things, but this is like my real life experience that I am actually dealing with hands on. Like, I'm in it with her, right? And so I was, and prior to that, like, me and her was connecting. Like, I was doing the girl here, straightening her hair for her, and then I didn't even know, like, what triggered her, right? I didn't know what her triggers were, and she wasn't even able to tell me, right? And silly of me to think, like, what was going to be that was her expectation was to tell me what triggered her, right? In the heat of the moment. That was a lesson learned. But in that, just being in that environment, as she was trying to sing, like, we had her in a restraint, like, me and this other guy had her in a restraint on the bridge, and she just want to say, like, she want to die, she want to kill herself. Like, she was just saying all these things. And y'all, if y'all don't know me, like, I could be a crybaby sometimes. Like, I could get really sensitive, and I'm just thinking, like, no, like, and knowing her background, because before a child gets placed in the program, we have the opportunity to kind of read their file. And just to read her file, it was, like, really heartbreaking. And just to know, like, some of the things that she was saying, that she was feeling, is, like, legit things. Like, I could understand why she felt like no one's there for her, why she wanted to take her life. I could understand that. However, I do not agree with her doing that, but I could really understand. And it just made me, like, really emotional. Like, oh my goodness, like, this girl is really about to try to. And listen, she wasn't no skinny little girl. She was a strong one too. So I thank God for that young man that was with me in that restraint, because, child, if she wanted to, she probably could have broke loose. Like, it would have been like a little, and I'm making light of it now because just reflected on it. But baby, if she wanted to, she probably could have broken loose. But since I built that rapport with her in the beginning, like, she felt more comfortable in this strain, because it was just happened all in one night. But she felt at ease to just say these things, and it probably was brewing inside of her for a long time. And so I'm saying this to say that we just need to be there for people. We need to practice optimizing our mental health. We need to start asking people how's their mental, and allow people to debrief with us, right? Allowing people to have that space where they could really, like, honestly, like, right now I am just so tired. I feel like people don't understand me. Just really allowing people just to vent with you. You don't even have to say nothing, but just you being there as a presence could really save someone's life. Like, me and that young man, we saved her life. And prior to him even coming into the cottage to help me with her, like, in ways, like, I saved that young lady life from jumping in the street, and even prior to her trying to jump in the street, but her being in that room and just talking, like, contemplating what she's about to do, thinking, like, how nobody cared about her. But by me just sitting there, being being present, she was able to feel connected with me to in a sense. And when we had her in a restraint on the bridge, the police and the ambulance came, and she was able to go to the hospital and get the help that she needed at that moment, right? But and ever since then, like, after she came back from the hospital after her attempt, whew, she was able to do, like, she was able to still interact with me. Like, she knew that, like, I was there, and when I would pick up shifts to work with her, she would try me sometimes, but nonetheless, like, that rapport was still there. She knew that if she needed to to say some things. Like, she could debrief with me, regardless if it was going to end up with me calling the cops or, you know, the ambulance pulling up, right? She knew she felt safe. And so, you guys, just start checking in on people. That is my goal, for us to really start checking in on people mentally, right? Not just in passing, not like, okay, hey, bye, all right, whatever, bye. Really allow people to debrief with you all. So let me read the comments because I just was talking. Okay, identify you. For instance, I was at work today and the lady found a broken bottle and she thought it was a crime and she wanted me to do something about the run instead of her just throwing it away. Okay. Yeah, that was kind of like, I get what you're saying, Dad. Right. Reflecting now, I had a few of triggers in the past 30 days. That's good. And that is so good. And one of the things that I love, and some of the things that I do that I hope that you all do, that whole self-reflection piece, right? You're able to just sit and just reflect, okay, this really tripped me out, and why, right? It could be days could be past and it's still on your mind heavy. And the fact that you are Shantae, the fact that you were able to kind of identify, okay, something triggered me, and I think that's great. And so you asked the question, what are some example of internal triggers? So example would be the thoughts of, I'm saying it right. Internal triggers could be something. Internal triggers are, you know, your thoughts and your feelings. So you feel lonely. So when you start feeling lonely, you think no one cares about you, right? You're telling yourself all these things. I think for me to say, internal triggers are really emotions and thoughts and feelings that are happening inwards to you, right? No, sometimes, yeah. So that's what it is. Internal triggers. Thank you, Dayla. Like my hair, girl. Let me see. Going through the comments, you guys. The words say to train your child in the right way they should go. Yes, train the child in the right way they should go. Yeah, our kids, and I'm saying our kids because it is our job to pour back into our youth, right? I really believe it is our job, in whatever way, in whatever capacity it is, pour back into them, whether what field you are in. If you have a child that is interested in business and entrepreneurship, I think it's our job to go back and teach them, and like, okay, this is how you run a business. Or if you have someone that is interested, have a child that is interested in fashion, you go back and you train them up. I think that is so good. That is so powerful. The word does say that. She said, I love that your job is doing that. Yep. I have to be okay. Let me see. 2 seconds into this. Oh, yep. I read that. Yes, Quaya. Keep their spirit high. Something to live for. I remember you saying that news, I think, when I was talking about staying in community with people. Yes, keeping people's spirit high, right? And keeping people's spirit high, even when their spirits are already high, right? We want to keep that momentum going, like, and once you notice that their spirits are dropping, like, you could easily like refuel them, right? Refill them. So I think it's so important because, again, oh, my ring light done dropped. That scared the mess out of me. Oh, that scared me, y'all. But keeping our going. Let me turn this down. So, keeping their spirit high, and I said this before, that we always think about, when it comes to mental health, when it comes to trying to help somebody, we always think like we need to help somebody when like a crisis happened, when something big happened. No, we need to be helping people like all the time, like, or talking to people all the time. It doesn't have to be like after something traumatic happened. I mean, that's when they need us the most. But I think it's so important for us to start building relationships prior to something traumatic happens. So exercise makes me so happy. Yes. Well, afterwards it makes you happy. Yes, because when you exercising, sometimes you feel like, oh my goodness, like I want to quit, like, but you just want to keep going. Like I felt you, Shantae. I felt you on that day. Let's say keyword afterwards. Yes, honey, afterwards. I be ready about to die when I be exercising. Like, oh my God, I just want to go drink a unhealthy smoothie or eat some ice cream or something. So Quaya, you said a healthy dose of exercising, or simply, I'm acting like I can't read. Simply taking a walk helps with a lot. Yes, for me, it's walking or being by anybody. Yes, body of water. Like, it's something about water. Me too. Like, I don't go swimming as much or being, yeah, as much. But when I first, like, after I had my daughter, so probably that summer, she probably had been like what 4 to 5 months. I would just take her to the beach, and she wasn't like, and I think it was still chilly out. So yeah, it was still chilly out, and I would just sit in the car near the water and just like chill and just relax. It was something about just, and I need to do that more often, right? I'm telling y'all to practice y'all coping skills, and I need to do that, right? Practice self-care. But it was something about that moment, just like sitting by the beach and near the water. Like you said, it's so serene, it's so peaceful, and it gives you, yes, you said, it gives you time to release and slow down. I hear my daughter. What's she doing? She running. Here she come, y'all. She about to come. She is funny. Oh, okay. I see a point that my dad share. Decompresses. Y'all laughing. Y'all was laughing at me. I can't swim either, but going to beaches, lake, rivers, it helps. Our minds are constantly running. Yes, it's so common. Something that I like to do when it's not raining, I will put on my daughter is distracting me. She doing something, her and my mother. But I will put on like some calming rain music so I could sleep better. But that's something that I do. So any of you guys have any questions or any other comments before I close out this live, you guys? I think it was really a great conversation. What do you guys think? Next week we're gonna be talking about, oh, what's the matter? Let me hurry up and get off the phone. I'll get off this live. So next week, oh, what I'm doing. Next week we're gonna like go into like a whole recap. A whole recap with the How's Your Mental live series, right? It's just going to give us the time to just sit, to talk, to reflect on some of the things that we have discussed for what? How many lives we done did? Next week we make the 5th live, you guys. Back to back, back to back, back to back. Like, let's give y'all a round of applause for just joining me. Yeah, this is one of my accomplishments, just to go up here every week live. Here's a quick plug, right? I'm gonna give y'all a quick little plug in. So something that I do sometimes, like life happens, like I like to say that life happens, right? Life gets to going, and sometimes, you know, we get caught up when it comes, like, you know, in the beginning of the year. Oh, Dad, you're still on the live. I thought you hung up. I would answer some of your questions. I see you liking some stuff, but I got like less than a minute to say this, and you guys go ahead and say whatever you have to say. But oh, Quay, I love you too. Thank you, Dayla, for supporting the live. Thank you, Shantae. Yes, Daddy, I will kiss Jordan for you. Yes. Okay, so let me hurry up before they really kick me off this live. But something that I do to kind of remind myself that I actually did some things and accomplished some of the goals that I put for myself. I had created, it's back there. I don't want to get up because I'll get up and show you guys. So what I did was I created, like, I heard somebody do this before, and I was like, you know what, I need to do the same thing, because I could be, we could become forgetful sometimes, right? We could become very forgetful. And so what I did was I created this, like, took a mason jar and I just put a jar of wins, and I have one little thing in here right now, and I probably need to put one more in here. But some of the things that I accomplished, it could be like little things, small things. So I challenge you all to practicing your mental. This would be a good thing to kind of cheer you up when you are feeling down, when you are feeling like you this is like a microphone, let me stop playing. But this could be something like when you could use when you are feeling down, right? Create your jars of win and put all of it to just remind yourself who you are and what you have accomplished, right? Anything from a good, you could even put a good memory in the past that you have accomplished. For me, I'm doing stuff that I accomplished this year. And once I complete this live series, this is definitely going to be note that is going to be going in here. So you guys, I have 6 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right. Good night, you guys. Peace and blessings. I love you all. Peace.